Hi, everybody. It's Monday, the 12th of June, 2023, and I've got a lot to cover today. Uh, Thanks to everyone who watched on Saturday. Um, I know we only had 30 watching as it was live, but already in triple digits for people who watched afterwards. So, hey, we're doing pretty good this so far. Just want to remind you, yeah, I'm a psychic clairvoyant. Everything is for entertainment purposes only. So the full disclaimer's down in the box. So if you've got questions, leave a comment, hit the thumbs up, all the stuff you have to have for the analytics. Comment if you have other questions and stuff you want covered. Shoot me an email or go on a message on Twit. And I'm also on T Social also. Okay. Um Now here we go. Some of this I start taking notes Saturday night on. Yeah, it's finally being revealed that the Big Red Sea is, since 2019, has had stuff parked in Cuba. Hey, it's only 90 miles from the US, so it's obvious. I mean, it's like, yeah, they want to know, hey, they pay for the Big Red Sea has paid for a lot of stuff here in America, so of course they have to keep an eye out on everything that's going on. They have to keep an eye on their investment. And it's not Donald. It's a couple other people. So, yeah, I, yeah, yeah, it's somebody else that's making big noise in Florida. Okay? Yeah, stuff like that. Now, something else I've noticed is that people see this alphabet soup nonsense, and it is June. And it seems like the LGBs are breaking off from the rest of the letters. They don't want to be affiliated with the trans groups. Okay? So, yeah, the LGBs are now breaking off in certain cities. They're separating out, saying, no, we're not that group that's pushing to switch genders on children. Yeah, the LGBs want out of that. No, no more. So they don't want to have anything to do with that ideology and the brainwashing of children. And that's part of the reason why I've decided, yeah, on the 25th, I want to be able to put a video up. I've lost 2 people from HIV and the AZT poisoning, and I am asking others, if you have lost someone also, please, my email's in the box, send me a picture with just their first name and their year that they were born and the year they passed. And I want to try to get as many names and photos as possible as a memorial, because the little frickin' wop that was preaching mask and liquid, he was also the one forcing AZT onto people. Yeah, that's why one of the reasons why I don't trust the short little wop. Hey, I've got Italian family members. They use the same derogatory name when referring to him, so I'm allowed to. Now, I noticed the other morning, Sunday morning, when I watched My Favorite Swede, he did some digging around, and I don't know how many people realize this, but all the fires that started north of the American border, they all were started at the same exact time, according to him. So it wasn't a natural occurrence. I keep getting it's premeditated by, yeah, premeditated. I get the name that begins with a T and ends in dough. his people to make him look good because, oh, here he's getting this. But currently, I mean, not only have people who are experienced with fighting massive wildfires from America have gone up there across the border, but South Africa has sent firefighters, Australia, New Zealand, and now it's so far that even France and Spain are sending guys over. So, yeah, it's premeditated by the people who support J. Doe. Okay, that's a good way to call him, J. Doe. Also, I keep my eyes on Aussie news, and now because of JoJo, we're now being referred to as a Banana Republic. Well, basically because the blue and yellow flag country. Well, he was VP under O'Bean Brain. Yeah, he was paid. The family, JoJo's family, part of it went to him, part of it went to the drug fiend. Over $10 million was filtered to JoJo's family in order to get. It was pay to play to get probably access to O'Bean Brain. So all this needs to be brought out, but of course, what they're doing is they're pulling indictments on somebody else to deflect what's coming out with them. And now they have a female prime minister in Italy. I mean, the other guy, yeah, what is his name? Wrote it down somewhere. Where is it? Okay, he is, yeah, Silvio Berlusconi. He recently passed away. He was 86. He was the former prime minister of Italy from the 90s to 2011. And he's known for all sorts of scuttlebutt all over the place. But Italy is now starting to send the military on to search every freighter that comes into Italian waters. And they're starting to find on the Turkish ships illegals, people who are being smuggled into Europe and possibly brought over to Central America to come up through our southern border. Now, these are people of military age. I would not be surprised if they were part of a military that belongs to a country where their passage was paid for on the freighters coming out of Turkey. Because remember, Turkey is Constantinople, Istanbul, so it's kind of like a country that's half and half Christian, half Muslim. And now they're trying to really push the Muslims' ideology and practices onto onto the other half of the country. So it's kind of, it does not surprise me that Turkey is allowing these probably members of military from other countries to get on the Turkish freighters, dump them off in a port in one of the other countries along Central America, off the Gulf, so they can be transported to the Rio Grande and enter. It's basically an invading army that's coming into the U.S. And we all need to be careful, because those guys don't like women. Women are supposed to be subjugated to them, okay? Especially young girls. Yesterday it was discovered now on another thing. Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber. He was, aged? He was 81, and he was found unalive in his jail cell. He's at a supermax prison in, North Carolina? So he's gone. Yeah, he did some stuff, but hey, don't know if he went up or down. I guess he's somewhere in the middle hanging out. That's where he went. He's unalive, but he didn't go up high, he didn't go down low, he's hanging out in the middle. Alrighty? Now, again, my favorite Swede, he this morning he brought up the fact that some teachers up in Canada are now calling out kids that pray to Allah are getting in trouble now because up there certain schools are Ultra Pride Month. They're pushing the trans brainwashing stuff. Well, I guess the Islamic kids are saying we're not participating and aren't being in the school, and they're skipping out all the events, and the teachers are causing stink and trying to get the kids suspended over it because of non-participation. Well, it's kind of, let's put it this way, people who worship Allah, if they find out that somebody likes a member of the same sex, they tend to eliminate them out of society. So expect a lot of noise, a lot of stuff hitting the fan because of this in Canada. And then, yeah, it's the other thing, it's like JoJo's hanging the flag in the White House, which I think is totally disgusting. But what's even more disgusting is that if anyone does decide to visit 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, you need to be wearing the face diaper and prove that you've had the questionable liquid put into your body. And then you still have to stay 5-6 feet away from each other. I'm like, I wonder why. So, well, maybe it's to protect the women so JoJo doesn't grab their butts and then give JoJo a flying elbow. Because heaven forbid someone give JoJo a flying elbow again. He might not recover from it. Yeah, and then somebody sent me comments about what's going on with the UK vets. Like I said, I took it off because they couldn't see it. And where did I have it? I must have hung it up in the other room. Yeah. My family's all Army, Air Corps, Air Force. Well, Army Air Corps was World War II. That's what my dad was. And then in 1947, that's when they renamed it and made the separation to the U.S. Air Force in 1947. And yeah, Dad flew in Korea too. So, yeah, so that's my allegiances to the U.S. Air Force. Forget this UK Army nonsense going on. That reminds me of the nonsense back. It was kind of interesting watching it because it was like in the early days of lockdown. Two guys in the makeup, cosmetic, beauty world on social media, they were having kitten fits at each other. I'm like, they were just slinging mud. So the stuff that's going on, I'm comparing it to those two fools. So enough said. Something else that has hit the fan, hit the news. The guy, the Hungarian who's been exiled out of Hungary thanks to Orban. Well, he's realized all of a sudden now he's decided to turn all his businesses and all his stuff over to his son, Alexander, who's about 37. Perfect. Most of the under 40s have been brainwashed. So his brainwashed child is now going to be running everything. Little Alexander Soros is taking over for his daddy. I wonder if his daddy has got limited time left here. That's what I'm guessing. Daddy's only got a little bit more time, so Daddy had to make sure that his companies, his organization would be run correctly. So he has his son, 37-year-old son, running it. And he has to make sure he's doing it correctly according to Daddy. And yeah. So, and I keep getting a gut feeling Alexander is a heck of a lot worse than his dad. And unfortunately, he's not a Hungarian citizen, so Orban can't do anything, but he's a citizen of another country, which unfortunately applauds George and Alexander's way of thinking currently, okay? Now, on Dice today, he actually put up something that it's funny. It's Bobby Jr. is now bringing back the noise that Alex Jones made a while back. I guess about the pesticide atrazine. It's a weed killer. Now, we know that when people use chemicals, it goes into the ground. It doesn't really disintegrate. It stays in the ground. It goes into the groundwater. And they found out when they were doing the testing on this pesticide atrazine that they tested it out on frogs. Well, this stuff actually helped the frogs, or caused the frogs, to change sex. Yeah, they turned boy frogs into girl frogs, and they actually started laying eggs. So possibly because this atrazine is now in the water, maybe that is what is causing so much confusion in our adolescents as they're going through puberty. Maybe they just need to have some biological testing on them to see if they're actually going wacko from atrazine poisoning. Just like BPA plays around with the female reproductive systems. Maybe we need to start having, instead of home tests for the flu, maybe someone should get together and put a home testing kit to see if your children have a high chemical balance of atrazine or BPA in their bodies. Because if that could probably end a lot of this transgender nonsense. Because if you have too much of something in your body, that's basically poisoning it and causing things to mess up. I mean, think about the stuff that was in the water that Erin Brockovich made her name on. Okay? So is atrazine and too much in the water where these kids are like being confused about their own sex? So, yeah, we need to check that out and somebody needs to put together a home testing kit. So before your kid goes in for any of like what happened to Jazz Jennings, see if they're first being confused by a chemical in the water. Okay? The other things that's been all over, I mean, it started last night. I had the news on while I was falling asleep, and the first thing that they were all announcing is Nicola Sturgeon resigned from the SNP instead of being kicked out. Well, basically, she was arrested over the weekend. She was held for several hours, and someone said they had her house sectioned off And for 30 hours, they were searching her house. Now, both her husband and her have been arrested on quirky stuff. So, let's see what happens. Because right now, the guy that's running, that took over her spot, likes to dress up in his national. The guy's Pakistani, and he follows Allah. So he wears his traditional garments. He doesn't wear a suit like you ought to. He's basically forcing his culture onto the Scots. And I know you don't mess around with a Scot, a true Scot. Yeah. Even though there were a lot of mistakes, hey, better watch the movie Braveheart. And yeah, Boris, yeah, you know, Mumbles? Mumbles from the UK? He's resigned from his party also. And I guess there's a big Partygate scandal kicking out and about the lockdown, and just so Boris has already resigned. He's like, I'm saving my butt. And let's see, I caught something on Al Jazeera, and now they're saying, yeah, the Big Red Sea is now wanting to purchase oil from Saudi Arabia. And instead of using the petrodollar, they want to use their own currency. So, let's see what goes down. Saudis, yeah, Saudis are kind of, even though stuff happened at the last century, they're still kind of loyal to the conservative Brits and Americans. And they know, the Saudis know that China is decimating the followers of Allah that are in China. So I really don't think that they're going to accept payment in the Big Red Sea's currency. They're going to want it in the petrodollar, just to make things life difficult because of because the Big Red Sea treats the Uyghurs very, very badly. Okay. Now, the other big thing that I've saw on the international news. Okay, yeah, I can understand a few languages. Now, Germany, it's something that has happened, and now a group of people and doctors are now recognizing a thing called post-vaccine syndrome. Yeah, nerve damage. People not being 100% after getting that liquid. And they are going to be going after the big pharmaceutical companies that manufactured this stuff. Unfortunately, from what I've been told, here in the United States, everybody had to sign a waiver stating that they could not hold the pharmaceutical companies liable if they have any medical issues post-liquid. Hopefully, the people in Germany, because a lot of them were raised to remember what happened during the 1930s and 40s. So they are, hopefully, they will make the pharmaceutical companies admit what they really had in that liquid and what damage it can do to people. Now we all know, hey, right now, Donald has been indicted. Come on, folks. It's a witch hunt. It's basically to take take the heat off of JoJo, because more and more evidence about JoJo and his shenanigans is coming to light. So of course they have to make Donald look bad. Now they're saying, "Oh, we're going to make him look so bad that everyone votes for him in the primary, so then if he has all the stuff against him, he'll be easier to take down, so JoJo can have another 4 years." I keep getting JoJo's not going to be around for that interview. He's physically not going to be around for that job interview come November of 24. And the other top Democrat that's going up against JoJo is Bobby Jr. So, yeah, we either get good guy Donald or good guy Bobby Jr. And if you notice, he's not being supported by his family. Now, it's something about just a tidbit about the Kennedy family. They never really, it's a family trust where the money comes from. And I was told that how the trust is funded. You see, every single bottle of scotch, there's an extra tariff put on it. There's an extra customs duty tariff. Well, that extra tariff, custom duty, goes straight into the Kennedy Trust. That's how they make their money. Every single bottle of Scotch whiskey that comes into the United States, a percentage of the price that you're paying at the cash register goes to the Kennedy family. That's where they make a chunk of money. Okay? Now, something else I'm laughing about, people are now having a fit. Because, oh yeah, to all of those people who are like on Telegram. Now, okay, a few years back, yeah, the hot thing was everybody had to be on Telegram to watch stuff. Well, I read the terms and conditions, and it said that the servers were based in Dubai. So I went poking around, and the stuff that I found out was that I didn't like who the people were that owned the servers and were managing the servers that were based in Dubai. So that's why I didn't get on Telegram. And now they're saying that the people who are on that social media platform, they're finding out that there's been a super duper data breach of people who've had the liquid, and it's being leaked all over Telegram. So, a social media site that I know we all have to be careful, but it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, I kind of saw who is running Telegram, and it does not surprise me that those people hacked into the databases of the pharmaceutical companies because they kept track of who got which liquid, and they found out who in the world got which liquid, and it's now being released out on Telegram. So, not thrilled. I mean, now people are having fits because, you see, once upon a time there was a company called Nabisco, but they were bought out by a Mexican concern called Mondelez. So, Mondelez did keep 3 factories here in the United States. One in Richmond, Virginia, one in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. There was one in the city of Chicago, but no, it's now they say these cookies are now being made in Naperville, Illinois. Well, it's the Naperville Aurora border. It's like off of Ogden Avenue in DuPage County, South DuPage County. And I've driven by that factory quite often, and I rarely see a full parking lot. Yeah, that's where they're claiming to make Oreo cookies, but the majority are being made in Mexico. So I guess in Norway there's a big boycott of all Mondelez products. So I guess they're hurting. Anything that isn't the Oreos aren't selling off the shelves. But people here, we need to keep our eyes out. Those of you who are in Illinois, it's on Ogden Avenue at that quirky Naperville Aurora section. You know what? You go down the street and see all the car dealerships. Well, there's a discreet sign on the southbound, southwest bound lanes. On that side, you'll see the Mondelez name of a building. Yeah, take a look at the parking lot and see how empty it is, okay? That's where they supposedly make the Oreo cookies. So the people in Fairlawn, New Jersey, hey, if you can take a peek, see how busy that parking lot is, and in Richmond, Virginia, and we'll know how many Oreos are being made in the United States, or are they all being made in Mexico and being sent up here. Now for the dastardly duo. I guess the current Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, is trying to strip Henry of his civil rights and possibly his titles because of all the nonsense he's been doing in the court. So that's being bantered about. Plus, Henry and Rachel have their knickers in a twist because of all the good press that has been leaked out, not by KP or BP, but it came out from the organization. It seems that a church, I think it was, somebody broke in and they ran a food bank and provided other items for families in need, and everything was stolen. Well, it was quietly mentioned in the papers. Well, this got brought to the attention of William and Catherine, and they said, holy smokes, and quietly just wrote out a check and took it over and said, hey, replace everything that was lost. Here, basically, they sent them a blank check to do it. Now, other people are having questions because Andrew isn't going to be doing the walk with the, they're saying Andrew isn't going to take part of the garter ceremony. Well, part of the deal was that he would not lose his position as member of the garter, but he would just not be massively public about it. Like, there is the garter ceremony every summer. Okay, so he will not be wearing the robes for the walk down to St. George's Chapel, but he will be taking part in all the other stuff that is not in public view with cameras. I mean, if he was going to be stripped of his garter status, he would not have been able to wear his robes to the coronation. Just part of the deal, especially until all the other nonsense gets settled. He just is not doing anything ultra publicly. He's doing things on the quiet. People are forgetting that. Now, yeah, we do know, hey, Henry and Rachel, of course, considering their behavior and nonsense at the Jubilee, no, of course not. I mean, if they come over for the Trooping of the Color that's going to take place on the 17th, that's all fine and dandy, but because they stepped back from being senior royals, working royals. No, they will not be in a carriage. No, they will not be on the balcony. If they come, they'll be treated like every other extended family member. Like there's a few Ogilvies out there. Princess Alexandra's kids and grandkids. Yeah, there's some Kents that are pretty far down, and the Gloucesters. Yeah, they're members of the royal family, but they're so far down that they don't ride in the carriages and they don't stand on the balcony, but they are at the palace watching from the windows. So Henry and Rachel have to realize that's their new status. And stop having a temper tantrum because you're not able to be with the rest of the family. You made your choice, live with it. Now it's turning out that the whole story about the bicycle is phony. It's a made-up story. Well, yeah, I mean, hey, I did do some poking around, and I did find out on LinkedIn and so forth that the name on it, Harrison Colcord, it's a guy, and he's actually like director of sales and special events and marketing for that San Ysidro ranch where Rachel likes to park her butt. Maybe they no longer have the lease on that Montecito house. Well, they're saying that they don't even have custody of the kids. Well, hey, my speculation and my gut feeling is always telling me the reason why the kids aren't in the UK is they can't get passports for kids that don't exist or they don't have custody of. So, okay, this has gone on for a while. I've got stuff I got to get done. Everybody have a good day. Today's the 12th. The next video will go up on Wednesday the 14th. So everyone have a nice Monday. At least it's not raining where I'm at. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the thumb, leave a comment if you feel like it, share it with your friends. All that stupid stuff that you hear from everybody else. Talk later. Bye-bye.